Uh, all right. I think we're live. We should be on. Cool beans. All right. So now we should be live on Facebook and YouTube. If people are getting the feed, post a comment and we'll see how it goes. The Are we doing any giveaways today? What should we give away today? That's a good question. I hadn't thought about it. It's I tell you what, it's been a crazy week. I was supposed to be live last week. I was down in Savannah, Georgia. Ended up having to extend my trip down there, and I just got back a couple days ago, and it's just been kind of crazy. For those who don't know, we're in SecureIt's in Syracuse, New York. I live southeast, kind of up in the hills, and woke up this morning to 12 to 14 inches of snow. So we spent the morning digging out, and I came into the office. Having a big truck with great big tires, snow tires, made the trip fairly easy. But people drive stupid in the snow. They don't need to, but they kind of do. So let's do this. Anthony, you made a comment. Any guys doing any giveaways today? I'm going to tick off everybody right now. So, Kevin, if you could create a discount code called, let's call it Tom15. 15% off anything on the website. It's good today only. How's that? We're gonna do this on the fly. Make it up as we go along. So, Tom15. It's not going to be live for a few minutes. Give Kevin a little bit of time to make the code. Code's going to expire tonight at midnight. How's that? So things going on at SecureIt, just to catch everybody up, people who haven't. SHOT Show was a success for us. It was a strange show. It was lightly attended, but the quality of the traffic, from what I was told by everybody, was pretty good. We don't do a booth at SHOT Show. What we do is rent, with a couple other companies, we rent the penthouse at the Palazzo, the hotel right there at the convention center. And then we've got a fully stocked bar, a bartender, and we host cocktail parties, and then it's a place to meet. So we had a lot of military up there, various other meetings, and it goes really well. It's a lot cheaper than buying a booth. And for us, we're not selling through resellers, so we are there's no reason for us to be on the floor. But I spent a lot of time. I took a walk through the floor, first pass, looking for new and innovative products in the firearms industry. And I walked about an hour and a half, 2 hours, kind of a walk around the upper floor. And I was talking to one of the producers that I'm working with over at Sportsman's channel. And I said, well, there aren't any. It was kind of funny. And then we went back and did a little closer look and found some pretty interesting companies. But the firearms industry is light on innovation. It's light on people wanting or willing to change. And that's one of the things that SecureIt, that's what we're all about and what we're doing. Our Cradle grid system, or in the military, the tactical weapon storage platform, is a very different concept in how to store guns. So our whole push is to getting people to realize that change can be good, and there's better ways, there's newer ways of doing things. And what the gun safe industry is putting out is really doesn't work very well. And they've been doing it for so long that I think they're just used to it. But it's time for a change. I mean, the Cradle grid system, we developed that with the guys at Bragg, and then we did some work with the 7th Group, Special Forces Group, developing that system, and military uses it all over the world. It works really well. It's very simple. A little time on our website, you'll understand it. Now we're using StreamYard to do the live broadcast, and I started messing around with it. My next broadcast, I'm going to be able to have the tech to do slideshows, bring in images, and bring in some more outside stuff to really illustrate some of the things that we talk about. We are getting the studio put together. We decided if we're going to do a live show, if we're going to do a lot of video content, to get more professional with it. So we're slowly investing in better tech and better production capacity. Hey, if anybody has any questions, this is an open forum. I mean, this is the point of this is, you can ask me anything. It's, I'm the owner of the company. I'm the CEO. I started this business. Ultimately, I started a business in an apartment in a lousy neighborhood outside of Los Angeles in 1987, 86, 87. And slowly built that, sold it to my partner, started another company, slowly built that, and kind of morphed into SecureIt. And here we are today. We're one of the faster growing companies in America right now. Things are going great. I've got a great staff. I've got amazing people. But so many CEOs isolate themselves from the world, and heck, you don't even know who they are, but it's hard to get a chance to talk to the CEOs of a lot of companies, especially in the firearms community. So we decided to do this. So any questions people have, don't be shy, ask away. Tom 15, that is correct. Give it a little bit of time. But today only, Tom 15 is good for 15% off anything on the website, and opportunity to save a little bit of money on some on cool products. Other things in the news, I just saw NCAA, the sports, men identifying as women and competing in sports. It looks like they're going to finally close that out. It's crazy. Who wants this? I keep looking and saying, who could possibly think this is a good idea? I mean, you identify as a woman, so you compete in sports and crush every single record. The guy doing it, I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the person, of the swimmer. I think the guy's an ass, or the girl, or whatever he goes by. You know what? You've given yourself an unfair advantage, and you're exploiting it. And it's just hurting every woman in sports. But it looks like they're finally going to do something about it. And because if they weren't, my thought was, why don't I identify as a 12-year-old, go to school, and then become the state champion 12-year-old wrestler? Now, probably some 12-year-old kid would kick my ass at some point. But it's that ridiculous, isn't it? It's just that crazy. Do you guys make upgrades for gun safes? Yes, we do. And in fact, I was talking with, we've now hired a new head of marketing, chief marketing officer, Chris, and he's a firecracker. He's a monster. And we were talking about that. It's a product. It was our first product, was the conversion kit. It's called the Steel 6 and the Steel 12. And then we have the Rapid 6, actually upgrade 6 we have a smaller and a two-gun kit. But Steel 6 and Steel 12 are on our website in the accessories section. We're in the process. We're working with the development team, and we're building a new website, scratch building it, not using a canned package. We're going to have a lot more features. And those conversion kits are going to become a much bigger part of what we talk about, because there's millions of safes out there, and they're actually really easy to convert to our system, to a modern way of storing guns. So if you go into the accessories section, look at Steel 6 and Steel 12. We do have the kits. I ordered a Answer 12 a couple of weeks ago. Was wondering if I can fasten it to the wall instead of the floor. You can. I'm going to have Steven will be in here. He's the tech whiz. He's going to be joining me today. And we can talk a little more about that. I believe you drill holes in the back of the cabinet. And the way I've done it in my house is, and I did that, is I took and mounted, I had 2x6s to the studs because you don't know. It's hard to hit studs in a wall. I got drywall, and I want it to be pretty strong. So I took 2x6s that were, I don't know how long, they were roughly 3 feet wide, and I mounted those where I wanted the cabinet, and I've used lag bolts into the studs of the 2x6s, and then I drilled holes in the back of the cabinet, like 3/8 holes, and lag bolted those into the 2x6, and it's pretty secure. I mean, it's not going anywhere, but you absolutely can do it. I don't think there's holes pre-drilled on the Answer cabinets. The big military cabinets do. I think they do have holes. I think I've got here. I'll show you. Look at that. We got the ability to switch cameras. That's Model 84 in the back. Those, I believe, have holes in the back that we can do it with. The Answer should have mounting holes for the back. You know what? Let me write that down. Ron, the wizard of product development, has the lights complete. We're still jamming on handgun storage solution. We've got a new AR-15 rapid access safe we're working on. But I'm going to add that mounting holes on the back of the Answer cabinets. It seems like it'd be pretty easy to do. Now, I always say that, but to change production, there's a little more involved because it's a pretty streamlined production process. So it's going to be stopped and a change made somewhere in that line to make sure there's holes punched. But I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bring that up at our next meeting. I think that's probably a really good idea. If the customers are asking for it, we got to do it, right? Isn't that? I think that's probably a smart thing to do. Other company safes are a waste of money. It's shy of locking your guns. You're better to lock them in a horrible metal box than not lock them. But I don't know why they do what they do, and nobody's willing to change. So we're doing what we do, and we're driving change. I mean, it's just what it is. Oh, a couple of other announcement. We start filming. Studio's built. We start filming in segments in a couple of weeks here for Agents of Change. That's going to be on Sportsman's Channel this summer. Airing in early July is when it starts, and that's it's a show that I'm going to be hosting, and we're just going out, basically bringing the most innovative products, companies, and people in the firearms community. We're going to be featuring them on the show, and the whole purpose of the show is to try to get the industry to drive change and just do things differently. I'm wearing a Sig hat today. Spoke with Tom over at Sig. They're going to be one of the featured companies on the show. Those guys are doing amazing things, and I'm really looking forward to. I'm just going to fly out there for that segment, and then we'll be down with. Well, I'm not going to. I don't want to tip too many things of what we're going to be doing, but we've got some pretty neat products and neat companies and some really interesting people to bring on this show. I'm really excited about it, but that's going to be it'll be airing in July. I'd get crazy next month. I was going to be filming next week, but we pushed that off, so I'm not doing any of my segments until we don't start shooting until March, which gives me a little bit of time because we're buried in snow, and I'm wearing my flannels and my warm clothes because of cold and snow and all that bullshit. Yes, Sig. I'll tell you what, guys. Those guys do it right. They do it right. I've not heard yet. They're waiting to hear on the machine gun contract, and I believe that's $10 billion. I think it's a $10 billion contract. It's big. I think you can argue right now that Sig probably is the largest gun manufacturer in the world right now. If not, they're really close. And the things they're doing with their experience center and everything, and how they're actually going to market it's the way the industry needs to go. I think they're going to be one of the companies just leading the charge. Hey, I've got Steven, the tech whiz, is going to be joining us in just a sec here. He's just come into the studio. We are going to be making use of our new tech and switching capabilities. So it's all new and crazy. Running through just any other questions here. People, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of them showed up. All right, man. How's it going, Stephen?
Oh, not too bad.
That's cool. Check that out. We're switching. We can switch back and forth. So I got you on camera. I got me on camera. It's guys. This is what the studio looks like. We're shooting through a GoPro right now. I just had one of my kids uses a GoPro for skiing and stuff. I grabbed it to play with it, but this is the new tech. So, question was posed: how do the answer cabinets have holes in the back?
The answers do not. What I've told people in the past, if they want to mount it to a wall, it is something that if you have a good carbide bit that you can put your own mounting hole in it. Mm-hmm. We recommend doing a 5/16 hole so it works well with 1/4-inch hardware, and always use a fender washer over it, which if you don't know what it is, it's just a bigger, fatter washer, which I didn't know what it was until I started working for you and you told me about them.
They actually call them that for holding fenders on cars way back in the day. Yeah. Fender washers you can buy at Home Depot. So we currently do not have holes in the back. Now I just posted out there that to Ron that product development, can we add holes to the back of that cabinet easily?
Yeah. And if you ended up drilling any of your own holes in there, make sure to hit it with a good rust inhibiting paint, because when you're exposed to steel like that, if you're in some place humid, like we're in central New York where it gets pretty humid in the summer, you have the chance of corrosion. And if you put the paint over there, just make sure that won't happen.
Yeah, I do. I did my cabinet, and I actually took I think I took a spray can of primer and just sprayed it on a piece of wood and took a little artist brush I had and just circled the hole. Yeah. And did it. But
I've told people just use a Q-tip, like spray it with a little Dixie cup, use a Q-tip.
Just something. It's interesting. The whole corrosion thing with firearms. I'm going to be shooting a video here. My plan is to get a couple videos shot next week. Corrosion is one of the things I want to talk about. We actually we shot footage with a college professor talking about the science behind or the chemistry that's going on in a gun safe. And we've talked about it many times, but the materials they're using in safes are corrosive, and there's no reason to use them. There's other things out there.
That's why our shelf in the Answer 12 and Answer 8, it's a steel shelf, because when we were developing it, we looked at the wooden ones, and we couldn't get a guarantee that they wouldn't have any of those chemicals in, the glues for, the carpeting that goes into them, or the epoxy that holds it together. So we just decided, we're like, well, we just use a metal one. And that cost was actually about the same.
Was it? I remember when we talked about, I remember when that was happening. It's funny. I didn't realize that was the fear. Yeah. Because particle boards, most safes use particle board, and they just wrap it with something, and that's the shelf. And it's cheap, it's easy, and kind of figured that's what we were going to do, and then we went to steel because we couldn't guarantee. That's interesting. So they couldn't guarantee it wouldn't off gas or cause corrosion. Now in the military, I've never seen wood. I've seen fabricated wood shelves, but there's no system in the military that allows them. A gun safe wouldn't be allowed in an armory, I don't think.
No, they have different requirements. Yeah. So if you look at our military line, it's the vented front and it's all padlockable. And that's mainly, the armory, they don't want a code out there because once the code gets out, who knows has it. Plus they have key control measures, and they want keys that they can replace. So if it's a lock that's part of the cabinet itself, and, one of your privates loses the key somehow, you're stuck, destroying those and starting from scratch. Where a padlock, you can cut it off, with some big bolt cutters and start all over again, which I've had to do. And actually, before I started here, when I had my arms room, I had to cut a couple locks off our cabinets that somebody had lost the keys to.
It's funny. It's an interesting story with that. When we first got into weapon storage, 2002, we worked with a company out of Canada, and I worked with the owner, and he and I developed. That was called the IWSP, Integrated Weapon Storage Platform. It was a modular system, and we started selling it, having some success, but he was fixed on this alloy lock that was integral to the cabinet. So the cabinet had a lock that was part of it. It was a very high security key. If you lost the key, the only way to get it replaced was to go to alloy. You had a little card you had to have. You had to have original invoice, all this stuff to get the keys. Well, military loses stuff. Everybody does, but there was an install at Fort Hood. It was $760,000 project with those cabinets. And this is, we had moved away from that cabinet for that locking system, and they had bought them all. And I was down there, and all the cabinets were sitting in a Quonset hut, just stacked up. And said, why are they all sitting there? And he goes, we don't have keys for them. And they had no ability to get the keys. And so it was just shy of $1 million in product that was sitting there. That's, why we moved away from that product, because you've got to go to padlock. So is there anything else going on tech-wise that people are asking, or?
Well, right now we just found in our Agile 40 models, we had a slight manufacturing defect in our locking rails that we're addressing right now. So we think that we've pulled them all, and just in case, if anybody has an Agile 40 that they just get, and probably from a few days ago to just a couple days from now, but the lock rails that hold them together, we had some that were just cut just a little bit off where they don't lock together. So we have replacements here. So let us know if you run into one of those, but hopefully we pulled all the bad ones, and we're going to get that corrected at the warehouse.
If you have one, the difference is that it just doesn't come down.
Yeah,
it's just too short.
It stops about, I want to say it's about a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that ran through the company pretty quick. We think we grabbed them all. The guy that was responsible for the air has been forced to eat vegan beef, imitation beef, for 2 weeks. So it will never happen again.
I don't know if he's going to be right after that.
No, you know what, guys? We're a company full of people, and you know what? Sometimes mistakes happen, but we don't bury it. We don't play games with it. We don't hope it goes away. We just say, hey, some rails went out that were bad. I think we caught them all. We just sent them out, no charge, overnighted them, and I think everybody's doing well. But yeah, anything else on your horizon as far as winter activities?
Not so much. I kind of hibernate because all my fun things, I like to mountain bike, I like to ride my motorcycle, and camp. So the most I do in the winter is I try to sneak out and do some hiking, but I've been a bit lazy on that one recently. So,
well, I was going to head out to the ranch. I was thinking about this weekend, and with the snow we got, I doubt I can get there. I'm not, because what happens is the county plows come up to the road, and just shy of where the access is to the ranch where our barn is, they'll stop with snow there. If I can get to the tractor, I can come dig it out. I'm not sure. I might cruise over there this weekend.
Well, you want to borrow my snow skis in case you got to hike in a little bit?
No, I got to get. My son is pressuring us to get snowmobiles.
Okay.
Because it's the SecureIt Ranch is just under 500 acres up in the hills, beautiful property, and but it's in the winter it's tough. The way the trees are, the way the wind blows, the access roads going up will have 3-4 feet of snow in them. So we trekked up there last year, and it was brutal. Who we got coming in? Questions. What is the difference between the Model 8 Plus and Pro and delivery lead time? What is the lead time currently for the Answer line? I know it has dropped.
Yeah, since we changed warehouses, I'm kind of out of the loop on that, but I believe they're shipping out within a week.
Yeah, they're shipping pretty quick. What we did recently, guys, people don't know, is we've added another warehouse. It's in
Memphis.
No, we got Memphis, and we added out west.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it
not Carson City?
You should know this.
Yeah.
you can tell that we're not
the ops. I'll tell you what, guys. If people know me, they know that I stay out of the operations side of the business. It's just not my, I'm good on marketing. I'm good on being out there, but I'm just got a note in Salt Lake City.
I think that might be it.
Yeah, his warehouse is, which I'm going to actually be heading out there in a couple of weeks for a meeting. So maybe I'll have to stop by the warehouse and take a look at it because I haven't seen it yet.
That just shows how much we've grown, because I used to have the answer to everything like that.
I know.
Now I have to go to people and ask them.
It's pretty amazing, guys. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that we had our warehouse right here, and we were shipping a handful of orders a day. And now we've got
Yeah.
warehouses in Memphis and Salt Lake City. And then we also ship all the military stuff out of Texas. And it's just cranking. It's going well. So difference between the Plus and the Pro is just simply accessories. And you can look at the website. It'll give you, there's more bins, more trays. The base model is cradle grid and the cabinet. The Plus adds in some accessories. The Pro adds in more. When you buy the Plus and the Pro, you're basically getting the accessories at a discount. Most people, I think we sell more Pros than anything else.
Yeah, that seems to be the
Certainly in the Agiles, I know it's dramatic. We don't sell many, but the base unit, if somebody is buying multiple units, they may buy a couple of Pros and a couple of base units.
When people ask me which is better, I mean, it really depends on your needs.
Yeah.
Like if you have a lot of really tall rifles, you know, you're going to want to go with either the base cabinet or the Plus. But, you know, if you have shorter stuff where you can use the shelves and use the bins and stuff, then by all means go with the Pro. And it just depends on, you know, what's going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah. I mean, I use a ton of bins. I use a ton of trays and storage products. I like keeping everything consolidated and together. I find that they say happy wife, happy life. If my gear is organized and put away and she doesn't have to deal with it, like it's not like cupboard space or, you know, it just, you know, stuff just stacks up and crap gets everywhere. If I keep it all in cabinets, doors, I close the doors, out of sight, out of mind, I can get more and nobody even knows. You know, but I do find, so I use a lot of trays, I use a lot of bins, and I keep a lot, like all my parts, all my odd cleaning brushes, odd caliber ammo. I've got a couple of old rifles, and I keep the ammo right behind the guns because I don't keep much of that ammo, but every gun I own does go to the range and does get shot at some point. So I keep those odd ones. I keep the ammo right with the guns. Then all my hunting gear. Now I've got one cabinet now that I've just about got it maxed out now we added a ozonics. I got one of those last year, the ozone generator for bow hunting. And, you know, every year I slowly add more. Nobody ever throws away gear, but you keep adding it. So
I know I have basement shelves full of it. Luckily, when my kids want some new hunting gear, I just give them my old stuff that I haven't used in forever.
Yeah, I just got a note from, this is from the marketing department at SecureIt, to stay tuned because the new website will have a pretty in-depth guide to help people make better choices or make good choices on what cabinet to buy. Because right now, we realize if you don't know our product line at all, coming into it, it can be a little overwhelming. And so we're developing a system now that does a much better job of laying out, these are the products, these are the differences. And it's really the questions you want to ask people is, you know, why do you have guns? Why are you storing them? Where are you storing them? For what purpose? Because that can change the storage you choose, you know, hunting versus home defense or a mix of both. I do recommend everybody, if you've got an answer cabinet, or I'm sorry, an Agile, that's our number one product, is at some point pick up a fast box and break one or two guns out of that cabinet. If you've got the Agile in a closet or somewhere in your home, grab a fast box, stick it in the front hall closet, stick one under your bed. Just, you know, I look at home defense for myself. I didn't take my house and all of a sudden deck it out with stuff. I had a couple cabinets, and then I added fast box under the bed. Then I added a fast box in my front hall closet. We put a small cabinet in the kitchen. We slowly, over years, I've added cabinets here and there, and now nobody knows it. If you came to my house, you'd never know there's a gun in the house. But you're never more than 3 seconds maybe from a firearm. Now, I live in a little community that I don't worry about it. I don't consider myself at risk, but I still am 3 seconds away from a firearm. Boy, you got a bunch of questions coming in. Answer 12, does it set flat on the floor? Does it have legs? It ships with there's C-channel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's there's two C channels that run from front to back on the sides, and they're bolted onto the bottom. If you want to bolt it to the floor, you need to unbolt those and take them off. If you just, you know, there's nothing that says you can't just leave them on. I would actually leave it on just because Central New York basement, that's where I keep my stuff, and you know, you get the moisture coming up from the concrete. I've had customers leave those on, then like what we talked about before, drilling your own holes in the back to mount them to the wall. So it's one of those things where you could do either.
Yeah, no, that's and I think people do. I've got answer. I left the feet on mine.
I like it because it raises it up.
Yeah, it just gets off the ground a little bit. And the leg, the feet that we have, it's like a C channel. It's powder coated to match the cabinet,
Yeah.
so it looks like part of the cabinet. You kind of bolt it. Got a question coming in. What's the best way to store ammo in a fast box under your bed? I'm going to say it depends on the quantity.
Yeah.
If you're doing a boatload of ammo, I wouldn't put it in the fast box. It's a sealed cabinet.
It's got the vents in the back.
Oh, does it? Is it? It is. That's right. That's a vented cabinet. I would not recommend a great deal of ammo in a traditional gun safe. Liberty makes their ammo storage, and we're going to cook that off this spring. I think it's a dangerous product. It's got drywall in it. It's got carpeting in it, and my belief is that the ammo will come to a critical temperature in mass, and you're going to have an explosion. Most ammo in a fire cooks off, but we are going to cook that safe off this spring. But ammo in a fast box, it works. If I'm home defense, I've got an AR-15 under my bed. I've got 2 magazines. One in the gun, one sitting there. That's plenty of ammunition for me for home defense.
I always just use those Plato boxes, and I always mispronounce the name. They make those tackle boxes.
Yeah.
I got you doing it too.
Yeah.
Like, you just put it in individual ones. I always make sure it has the little rubber gasket in it. And then for me, I put it on shelves, but I don't really have that much. And if I was going for more volume, I would use our ammo cabinet with them in the boxes separately.
Yeah, I did the. It's a plastic box. It looks like an ammo can.
Yeah,
but they're just cheaper, but they are sealed still. I actually have an ammo can in my garage, and that's where the bulk of my ammo is. I've got an early prototype. It's the only one that exists, and it was kind of hand. It looks kind of goofy, only because it was a prototype. I just brought it home and started using it. It functions fine, but our ammo cabinet is fully vented. It's an absolute beast. What's the rating per shelf? Is it 600 pounds per shelf or 900 pounds per shelf? It's crazy what you can load in this thing.
I can't remember I want to say it's 4 to 6. It's 400 or 600. I can't remember offhand.
But you really can't overgross it. But for large quantities of ammo, you want it in something that's vented. So in the event of a fire, it cooks off. You're not going to protect your ammo in a fire. In the event of a fire and your ammo is exposed to it, you're going to throw away the ammo. You're not going to take ammo that's been potentially partially cooked off because you don't know what it does to the chemical makeup within that ammo. You don't want to. I don't know if it can make a load burn hotter or not, but everything I've ever read, everything I've seen is when ammo's in a fire, you get rid of the ammo. So
unfortunately, I'd start over with my firearms too. Unfortunately, because once the fires hit the temper, it's going to change metal properties. So anything that's been in a fire, I wouldn't even shoot.
Absolutely. So a couple of questions I want to get to. When does Tom 15 go live? It's telling me it doesn't exist yet. They're keying it in, I'm sure, right now. There's a team of 45 people frantically working at a computer. No, I'm sure that it'll be up in a couple of minutes. And then have gun and mags loaded. Yeah, the fast box is specifically designed for a AR-15 type rifle with a CQB, like a red dot or an optic, and 30-round magazine installed. So it's
when it's flat, because when it's
vertical.
Yes, thank you. It does the way the cradles are. We have a hard time getting the mags to fit, so you have to drop down to a 20. Although you can do it, but you got to kick the.
Yeah, because I have a vertical with a 30-round mag, but I think I've got the gun turned around.
It'll hit the door. So
yeah,
the mag in, it's the mag's.
I remember how I did it,
but you
know what?
Cant it sideways. Just
I don't have an optic on it.
That won't matter on that. So you probably have a canted side.
Okay, I know I've got one that is vertical in there. It's not a fast. I have the fast box. It's not in a location where I want fast access. It's in my shop, and I've just got some guns in there. So guys, any other questions? We've got Steven from Tech. You've got me. We're sitting here in snowy central New York.
Actually, I'll plug Gunwalls real quick. Our new customer service guy, Alex, we're just training him to do Gunwalls. So he's going to be up and running. I think he's finishing up his first one today. So hopefully next week. And I just jump in, check out how he's doing, make sure everything he's got it fit right, and help him out with that. But pretty soon he's going to be our gunwall guru.
The gunwall guru. All right, Alex. Alex is is one of the recent band of misfits, and he's taken on his as a personal challenge designing my tattoo. So I'll fill you guys in on this one. You're going to love it. I turned 60 a month ago, and I always said I'm going to get a tattoo when I turn 60. And so now I'm on the fence. I've got to get some sort of a big ass tattoo on my arm. The idea was when I was a kid growing up, now I was a guitar player back in the metal days and all that stuff. I played in bands and did the whole rock and roll thing. My mom always said, don't get a tattoo. I was like, well, why not? She goes, well, when you're 60, it'll look awful. So I just waited till I turned 60. She's still alive. I'm going to get a tattoo and say, hey, Mom, look, I'm 60 and it looks freaking great. So
it's pretty amazing you made it through that scene without getting tattooed.
There's the guys that got tattoos, got a ton of them. Most guys did. The real tattoo thing didn't happen till well into the 90s.
Yeah.
Back when I was playing in, I played in a Judas Priest Iron Maiden cover band in the 80s. Late 70s, early 80s, I was playing in, when I was in high school, I was playing in bands. And then we did a Deep Purple cover band. And then moved out to LA and played for a few years. But yeah, it was fun. It was a crazy time.
And Tom and I are notorious for not getting as much work done as we should when we're together, because we both love music, cars, shooting guns, and everything in between. So
that's right. So other things that are going on, just for people, points of interest that we're going to be featuring as part of the company, just things, stories and things. I'm building a car right now. I'm a gearhead. I've got out in the shop here. I'm working on a 66 Ford Falcon that we're going to make. It's a square boxy car, and I think I'm going to wrap it. I'm having a machine shops doing it. I'm going to build a 289. It's going to be stroked out, about 350 horsepower, 5-speed transmission, air conditioning. I think we're going to wrap it and make it the fast box, because it's a black square boxy car. So I got to do some monkeying around with that. But the other thing that I'm pursuing, I have 2 Elmquist Sabres, which is one of America's first kit cars. They're tiny little cars. One's is restored as a street car. It's a beautiful little car, which we're hoping we may have at Pebble Beach next year. And the second car is Carpenter Racing is building a Kawasaki GSX 750 motor turbocharged. And I'm entering it in Bonneville to get a land speed record. Class J is a sports car with an engine less than 750 cc's, that's like half the size of a Volkswagen Bug, old Bug engine. It's a small, mid-sized motorcycle engine. Nobody makes cars like that anymore, so nobody runs the class. We're targeting 420 horsepower. The car is tiny, and it's a little missile, so we are hoping for 220 on the Salt, and that's most likely going to be 2023. We've got to get through tech this year, and there's a bunch of hurdles we got to get through with the car. But that's kind of we're going to bring cameras out there. SecureIt's going to sponsor the crap out of that, and we're going to give it our best effort. But that is kind of what's going on. The Falcon Fastbox is, I'm going to actually shoot some video. I may do one of the live shows out in the shop and talk about that as it's coming together, because that's going to be a fun project. My first car was a 66 Ford Falcon. I drove it for 8 years. I started my first business driving this old car, and I got up to 22 employees. I had the crappiest car in the parking lot, but I just thought it was a cool car. Then I sold it and bought a newer car, and have missed it ever since. So I found a 66 red Ford Falcon, 6-cylinder engine, and now I'm going to kind of rebuild my very first hot rod. Only this time we're going to kind of do it right, we'll say. And I think we might just make the fast box. I don't know. We will see.
For all the motorcycle people out there, it's a Suzuki engine, not Kawasaki.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because you said GSXR. I'm like, oh, that's Suzuki. They both run, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Suzuki makes the 750 still, but your engine is a Suzuki.
You're right, Suzuki. That shows you how much you know about motorcycles.
Yeah, I'm the motorcycle guy here.
Falcon fast box or the fast box in the trunk? Yes, actually, what I want to do in the trunk is I want to put a gun wall. So when you lift the trunk up, it'll have pistons like for the back of a minivan to carry the weight, and you lift it up. It's kind of a gun wall with rifles on it, and that'll just be for going to shows. I mean, I don't build cars that sit in trailers and just are sit on display. I build them to drive them. So the Falcon will be a daily driver for me, but we will have that capability. That's why I'm going to put air conditioning in it. It'll be I'm going to redo the front suspension so it corners well. The car will be sitting pretty low and like a canyon racer kind of a look to it. But I'll shoot some video of it and I'll get it out there. It's going to be a fun project. So guys, we're going to be winding up here. Does anybody have any questions or anything for us? We got the big studio shot. There you go. Last chance to ask the Wizard of Tech, Steven, or myself, any questions about things going on. I'll wait just a second. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And guys, if you're just tuning in now, Tom15 is good for 15% off till midnight tonight. TOM15, good for 15% off. Things we talked about today, that mounting holes for the Answer 12s, I'm going to talk to Ron in product development, see if that's something we can just work into the schedule on that. All right, guys. I think, Steven, thank you very much for joining me, guys. We're going to wrap up, and it's the first Friday of the week, so let's not screw it up. But everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. If you're in the Northeast, get some skis on and do something. Get outside. Enjoy the snow while you can. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.